We're 6 months into the year. How has that happened? I don't know. Since we're 6 months into the year, I thought I would go through every book that I read so far and tell you whether I recommend them or not. Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. I do recommend this, but check your trigger warnings. Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I do not recommend this, but that's my opinion. I just didn't get on with the book. Heartstopper Volume 4, I do recommend, but also check your trigger warnings. And then Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman, I also recommend, but check your trigger warnings. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, I also recommend. I loved this book. Know My Name by Chanel Miller, I do recommend. Check your trigger warnings, and I think everyone should read this book or listen to it, whatever you want, whatever format you want to. I mean, I highly suggest listening to it because the author reads it, but that's just me. From Here to the Great Unknown by Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough, I do recommend, but you have to be an Elvis fan and a Lisa Marie Presley fan and a Riley Keough fan. And I mean, a good draw to it is if you listen to it, Julia Roberts also narrates it. So, The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop, I highly recommend, especially if you're a Gilmore Girls fan and you love Emily Gilmore. I mean, I highly, highly recommend listening to it because she reads it. So that's amazing. Now, this next one is probably controversial because it's such a popular book on the internet, but Magnolia Parks. I do not recommend. I DNF'd it, and I do not plan on ever picking up this series ever again. Love Theoretically by Ellie Hazelwood. I do recommend, especially if you like smut and you love a good STEM novel. And yeah, Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn. I mean, I kind of recommend, especially if you love the Bridgerton universe and if you liked the show. But if you've already watched the show, the book kind of is like a moot point. But I'm not going to stop you and like deter you from reading it if you want to. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I would recommend this book, but you have to like historical romance and really, really long books. These books are like 500 to over 700 pages long, depending on which one you're reading. It's a journey. Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. Yes, totally recommend. Love Ina Garten. She is queen. I grew up watching her show, Barefoot Contessa, and I loved this, and I felt so like inspired after reading it. Well, listening to it. I highly recommend listening to it because she reads it. Bent Right to Your Win by Esther Valos. I hope I'm saying her name right. Sorry if I butchered it. I wouldn't recommend this book. It was an ARC sent to me that I reviewed, but I didn't get on with it. I felt like there was a lot going on, but you might like it. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. Yes, 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 I do recommend. I love this. I'm going to be continuing this series, and the first one was just amazing. I loved it. It was like everything I love in fantasy and romance, and yes. Cher, the Memoir, Part 1 by Cher. I do recommend, but you have to be a Cher fan. Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. Yes, this is the first thriller I've read in a really long time that I had no idea what was going on. I thought I had figured it out by the end, and then I didn't figure it out. And so if you like twisty-turny thrillers, then yes, this is the book for you. Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Maybe I would I would, but it's a really tough read. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Yes, this was my first cowboy romance, and I'm really glad it was. And it was just so beautiful. I loved it, and go read it. If the background has changed, I'm sorry, I accidentally bumped this. But Deeply Examined by Lexi Davis. Maybe I would recommend it. You have to like dark romance, and this was my first foray into dark romance, and I'm not sure it was the best choice, but this was also an arc sent to me that I reviewed. Fall from Grace by Stephanie Napolitano. Yes, 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 yes. If you like Gilmore Girls, if you like Gossip Girl, if you like small town romance, if you like Hallmark, you will love this book. I absolutely ate it up. I cried at the end, and guys, I do not cry reading books, and it was so good. And also, it was an arc sent to me. The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I wouldn't recommend the audiobook version, but I would recommend reading it physically. I found that I did not like the narrator, and if I wanted to listen to the dialogue and the story, I would just watch the TV show. Other than that, it was all right. I'm not the biggest Daphne story fan, so. And finally, Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. This is the second book in the Outlander series, and would I recommend it? Kind of. I mean, if you want to read the series, then yes, I recommend it. If you've read Outlander and then you've read this one and you're kind of bored, then I wouldn't continue it. I personally want to continue the series. And I just found that half listening to it and half reading it physically on a Kindle or whatever, listening to it hindered my reading experience, and yeah, but I kind of recommend it. Editing Jess here. I forgot to include Heartless Hunter as actually the last book I read in the 6 months, and I definitely recommend this book. So those were all the books I read so far in these 6 months. To choose a favorite would be tough, but I have a few favorites. Fall from Grace, Count My Lies. I would love to know, I know it's tough to choose one favorite or a couple favorites from a whole half a year, but I'd love to know what one of your favorites is. Leave those in the comments, and happy reading.